There's kind of been a lot of talk and discussion and stuff about Sonic Forces because, like anything else, it's a new Sonic game. This has been in development for 4 years. It's a pretty big deal, and just like anything else, whether or not it's games or anything, there comes opinions and different perspectives on things. So I'm going to preface this. Essentially, this is my thoughts on Sonic Forces and stuff. My official thoughts on Sonic Forces. I'm going to preface this by saying that these are my opinions, and I'm sure they're unpopular opinions, but they're my opinions nonetheless, and I'm going to try and explain my viewpoint on this game as best as I can. So if you agree with me, that's cool, and if you don't, well, you can think your own thing, but this is what I think of this game based on what I've seen so far. Alright. So, one of the biggest issues I think this entire Sonic Forces road has been so far is the overall general lack of information and knowledge that we have about the game. Now, I'm probably going to reference Mario Odyssey a lot in this because I am finding a lot of parallels to Mario Odyssey. Now, Mario Odyssey is coming out towards the end of this year. And back in, I think, January it was, Nintendo had that Switch presentation with an official Mario Odyssey trailer, lots of gameplay, and I think there were some details about the game online floating around. So it's enough to give consumers and myself kind of the reassurance that this game is going to be great. It's coming at the end of the year. Get hype. And I really felt that from watching the trailer. In my head right now, I'm thinking about when I'm going to get a Switch. At the very, very latest, because I want to get one in June, but at the very, very latest, I want to get one for the holiday season and get Mario Odyssey because I know it's going to be a great game, it looks like a great game, and I really can't wait to play it. Now, I can't say the same thing about Sonic 2017 or Sonic Forces, and that reason has nothing to do with gameplay or anything like that. I'm not even talking about that right now. It's just the sheer lack of information that I feel like they've been purposely kind of trolling us with. Because if you know anything about the Sonic social media, they're really secretive and they're really, hidden about their information and stuff. And while they might try to, think that's funny or something, the trailer that they released on their YouTube page, the Sonic Forces direct feed 60 FPS trailer, that did not reassure me in the least that this game is going to be a good game. Now let me talk a little bit about why I think that. So, I've said in the past that I liked Sonic Colors, okay? It was an okay game. It was fun for what it was. However, I probably wouldn't want to play a game like that again. And I know for a fact that Generations was structured like that. I know that Unleashed was structured like that. And I'm pretty sure Sonic and the Secret Rings had some kind of structure to it in the same vein. So those games have come out. I think Unleashed was 2008 maybe. So, we'll say it's been a 10-year span. I know, because I know 06 was Sonic 06, and then the games after that were like the Wii generation. So we'll say at least 2010. So we'll say like 10 years, okay? So keep that in mind. 10 years of those kinds of Sonic games. So, when we first saw the original trailer for Sonic Forces, I said to myself, and this was not even the gameplay trailer, just the trailer of Sonic running, like the cinematic trailer, okay? Just when we saw that, which again gave us very little information, I said to myself, this looks like Sonic Colors and Sonic Generations. Regardless about what all the developers say, this to me looks like it's going to be Sonic Colors and Sonic Generations. And that's something that I don't really like, because as I said earlier, I don't want to play another Colors game. And after looking at the gameplay that they gave us, the 60 frames per second direct feed from South by Southwest, it looks like Sonic Colors, Sonic Generations, all those games from the past 10 years of Sonic. And that is something very unappealing to me because I don't like my Sonic games being played like that. And I don't say that because I'm an adventure fanboy or anything like that. I say that because I just didn't enjoy that type of Sonic game, and I was really hoping that for this one, they could have mixed it up. Again, I'm not saying I wish it was SA3 or that it was any kind of Sonic similar to the adventure style gameplay. I would have really liked to see some kind of new direction with the series that had a different type of gameplay style to it, that mixed it up somehow, instead of getting a clone of Unleashed and Secret Rings and Colors and Generations. So that's one issue that I have with it. Now, the other issue is that I could maybe see past that. And again, this might be an issue that is resolved, but I don't know that because they haven't given us enough details about the game for me to see this as resolved. The issue that I have as well with this type of game is that I could see past it if we were maybe given some kind of story element or some kind of, idea of the character involvement in the game, or some kind of something to really make me say, okay, this is going to be different than just classic Sonic and modern Sonic from Generations, or this is going to be different than, Sonic Colors and stuff. But just from what I've seen so far, it doesn't give me that sense. And just recently, Pat Mac told me that Tails, Knuckles, and the Chaotix, or something to that effect, were going to be confirmed in the game. And I got really excited about that. I'm like, oh, really? Okay, that's really cool. That's a step in the right direction. This isn't going to be like Generations with 2 playable characters. They're going to give us some more substance to the game to really make it feel like a different game, even if it is exactly like Unleashed and stuff. And then he said, they're going to be NPCs that guide Sonic through the levels. And I hit my head on my keyboard when he said that. So you're telling me that Knuckles and the Chaotix, because I think Tails was never actually said to just be an NPC, but from what I recall, Knuckles and the Chaotix were just going to be NPCs? And that's the word right now? They're going to be NPCs? Are you kidding me? This is a Sonic game that you spent 4 years working on, and you're not going to give us Knuckles as a playable character, and the Chaotix are just going to be, helper characters? Like, that blew my mind when I heard that, and it just hammered my point home that this game is just going to be a Colors Generations clone, which is something I don't want to play, which is something I can't get excited about, which is something I'm led to believe based on the lack of story and direction that this game has had in the public eye so far. So, as it stands right now, there's really not a whole lot I'm excited for about this game. Yes, the visuals look good. I'm not going to say they look bad. And no, I'm not an adventure fanboy. I'm not rallying and rioting for Sonic Adventure 3. But what I'm saying is that for 4 years of development, in my eyes, all they did was take the Generations Unleashed Colors engine and reskin the levels. And that's all I'm seeing in it so far. It doesn't matter if Soap Sonic was in this game, if he's just going to be an NPC. It doesn't matter if the Chows are in this game, if they're just going to give you an image gallery of all the different Chows as an extra. Like, I want more from my Sonic games. I don't enjoy the ones where you just run through the levels so fast. In fact, I was playing Heroes just last night, and I'm thinking, okay, this game is an adventure, but I still really enjoy it, and it's arguably just as good as Adventure. If so much it doesn't have the legacy as Adventure, but it's just as solid of a game, and I really like it. And I kind of wondered to myself, why do I like this game so much? And I think it comes down to, I want to say, taking your time through the levels and really taking in the scenery and kind of doing tricks at your own pace. The thing with Colors that I didn't really like, and same thing with watching this gameplay and Unleash and all these other games, is that you run through the levels really, really fast. And while I understand that Sonic is about speed, and I'm guessing that's the direction they want, the games to go in now, is just all about speed. One of the reasons why I liked Adventure and Heroes and stuff is that it wasn't always about speed, especially with Heroes. You had to switch to the power character to get through a bunch of enemies. You had to use tails to, fly around certain places. And there was some like levers you had to pull in like power plant and stuff. There was a different element to the game rather than just speeding through at top speed and not being able to either enjoy the environment or the little things in the level, or just making combos at your own leisure. Like, in Heroes, when you do the light dash, you can get like 1,000 points from a light dash or whatever. And Knuckles, you can do the combos and get, there are different things to do. With colors, all you do is run through the level, homing attack. Aside from the wisps, but that's a whole different argument. So, I really hope that by the time this game comes out, they either give me some kind of story sense or other playable character sense or some kind of features to the game to really make me feel like I'm playing a different game than just a colors reskin. But at the same time, I feel like the extent of which I am looking for in this game is long gone, and I'm not going to get that new kind of direction with the series or new kind of gameplay style or, Heroes 2. I mean, honestly, the game could have been Heroes 2. If they really wanted to make it Heroes 2, it could have been Heroes 2 with all the different playable characters and stuff they could have had. And at this point in the Sonic franchise, how many different characters you have. And I'm going to kind of drift to my conclusion with a few different disclaimers and stuff. So obviously, I'm not looking at the comments because I want this to be a fluid thing. So I'm sure maybe if you guys are pointing out different things, saying I'm wrong about certain things, or pointing out just different things I overlooked, okay, well, I'm going into the stream knowing what I know. And additionally, yeah, maybe that was it. That's just what I think. Just what I personally think, what I see from the game, and I guess we'll wait to see what happens with it. But as it stands right now, I'm really not a fan of it. If it stays like it does, probably get it, but I don't think I'm really going to enjoy it because, I can't do things like I used to do in Sonic games and enjoy that. It's just, maybe that time is gone for Sega. Maybe, this is what they feel is best for the franchise, but for me, it's not what I look for in a Sonic game, and I'm definitely not going to enjoy it if it stays like this.